Oh, hello again. You may have noticed that since the last video I haven't actually tidied up at all, but who cares? I know where everything is and that's the main thing. Now if you watched the video on reloading brass cartridges with black powder, you know that I'm quite a fan of these things. But sometimes there's an occasion where these things may not be appropriate. Now, maybe you're going to a match where it's very difficult to pick up brass after your shoot, so you really won't want to lose these things, or maybe your buddies steal the brass from you when you're not looking, or whatever. So sometimes there's a need for black powder cartridges that are plastic, and what I'm going to show you today is the way that I use to recycle these things, these range pickups, and reload them with black powder so that we can shoot them for cowboy action or just for fun. Now, the best cartridges to collect are the 70mm or 2 3/4 inch ones, because what I find is that these things, if you just re-crimp them, the crimp doesn't stay crimped for very long and you end up with an empty shell with all the shot on the floor beside you. Or in my case, my Winchester 1897 doesn't really like crimp cartridges. It doesn't eject the fired cases very well. So what I'm going to show you is a way of recycling these things and doing it with a roll crimp instead of a star crimp. The first thing you need to do with your recycled case is to cut off the part of the case that formed the star crimp, because you won't be able to roll crimp over that part. Now, there are several ways of shortening a case. You can use a hacksaw or a craft knife, or you can even buy a little gadget that does it from a number of suppliers. What I use is my mini lathe, and I find that if you dabble with old guns and reloading in general, one of these little Chinese lathes is a real godsend. There are just so many things you can do with it and things you can make with it. Now, the way I cut these cases is to use this little tool here, which is just a Swan Morton craft knife screwed to a piece of 10mm square bar, and that mounts in the tool holder of the lathe. The other part of my system is a piece of aluminium rod, it could be wood of course if it's easier for you, which mounts in the chuck of the lathe here. The diameter is such that it's a snug fit inside the cartridge case. The tip here is tapered a little to allow the case to slip on more easily, and there's a groove here which allows the point of the knife to go through the case without actually contacting the aluminium and damaging it. A little difficult to film this part, but I hope you can see it. All I do is just slip the empty case onto the mandrel, like so, and then turn it anti-clockwise by hand while advancing the blade using the carriage. A bit. There you go. Comes off quite easily. There you are, one trimmed case. Okay, once you have your trimmed cases, you can carry on depriming, repriming and loading. These are the components I use. This is the famous Lee Loadall shotgun prime reloading press, very relatively cheap, simple device. Primers of course, powder. Black powder I use FFG, you can use Corsa if you like, it's not really that important. 1/8 card wads, 1/2 inch fibre wads, and for the overshot wads I use these clear plastic frangible wads. The advantage of these is you can actually see the shot, so if you use two sizes of shot, I use number 7s and number 4s, you can easily see which one you're using at the time. Sizing and repriming on the load all are very easy. First you just need to put the fired shell into the sizing ring, and down like so. That will deprime the case. Then put it over the priming station, bring the ram down again, pushes the case out of the priming ring and inserts a new primer. For this particular loading I use the Lee powder dipper, the 4.3cc one, which gives me around about 65 grains of FFG. Just straight into there. So. Next I place the shell underneath the central station of the loadle. You notice I had to put a crude spacer in here so that the shell, the shortened shell, actually reaches into the fingers of the wood guide, like so. Then in goes the over powder wad into place. Then 1/2 inch fibre wad with another 1/8 wad on the top, ram down, and then bring the ram out and drop in the shot charge, which in my case is 1 1/8, and that will come out. Ready to take the overshot wad and the roll crimp. Now the final stage in the process is the roll crimp. Now some people use these, which are roll crimp devices, which were very popular many years ago, and basically all it is a tube. The shell goes in there and this lever pushes it against this crimper here, which is a recessed brass casting which has a little pin inside it at right angles, which turns over the end of the shell. I've never been able to make this work successfully because my particular one doesn't push the shell in far enough to create a good roll crimp. So what I use is this, which is the modern version. It's a brass turning with a little pin inside which turns over the end of the cartridge, and it mounts in a drill press. It's quicker and easier than one of these. Now you can buy a little vise to hold the shells in position to avoid hurting your fingers. What I do is just nip them up in a machine vise underneath the head, like so. Now my drill's a little noisy, so I'll tell you what happens during the process. Once the head is rotating, bring it down until it just contacts the top of the case, and leave it there for 5 to 10 seconds to warm up the case. Then gradually bring the crimping head down about at least 1/8 of an inch to turn over the crimp, as follows. There we are. That's it. A smooth roll crimp. So there we are. Well, once again, thanks for watching, and I hope you find it useful. And I promise that I'll tidy up a little bit before next time. Thank you.